I made $300,000 this month. Let's chill. Let's go party. No, like, let's fucking take it to 4 and then 5 and then 6.
So we love to party. We love to have fun. We love to hang out with friends.
I finally came to this realization, and I wish I did sooner. Be yourself down to the last dollar.
There's always someone doing worse than you that would appreciate having what you have now.
Dozens of my other friends are giving people a fucking proven formula to follow. You literally just have to walk down it, be somewhat consistent, be dedicated. 6 months to 1 year, no problem. You should be at $10,000 a month. All right, so Ramin, last time we sat down and shot one of these was, gosh, what is it, 2 years ago now? It's been a long time since.
Fuck, bro, time actually flies. Was it, wait, was the last time actually?
Well, I mean, we probably shot some stuff in Dubai when we first came through here after Australia.
Yeah.
But not like this. Like, we didn't have a proper setup like we did, you know, back in GC and back in those days. So it's been a while since we've done something with a proper setup, you know?
Yeah, there's 3 cameras going on, a light, fucking palm view. Yeah, it's so funny because when I look back then, I had my phone on like a tripod stand. Not even a tripod, it was like one of those like sticks. And then you had the cardboard instead of the tripod, but we're still printing back then.
That's the thing. Like, we had the money to invest in a setup, and just like we just didn't care. We were on the move, and like and I think that's a lesson for like aspiring content creators and people out there who want to start a personal brand and all of that. Like, you know, in and of itself, because people, they wait way too long. They try to be perfectionists, but what did we do? We fucking just sat down wherever we were with the phone out, a couple stacks of cardboard, and the setup was complete, right?
Yeah, like. I think a lot of people nowadays are just overcomplicating things way too much. Like, even I just paid like $6,000 for that camera, and it's like, I bought the camera after doing hundreds of millions of views organically, and you would have thought I would have brought that like way back, but the fact that we made use of what we had, and there was never once where we're like, oh, can we make it work, can we not? Like, we've got the cardboards, we've got some books, we're like, all right, this isn't a bit too high. We look around the apartment, like, what else can we utilize? And yeah, being resourcefulness is so important.
Yeah, I think the way that I look at it with content and personal branding is there's a couple different key points that you can touch on. It's like value, production value. So like, you know, the setups, the cameras, the lighting, and then personality, right? And so in a lot of the content that we make, it can be hard to show personality because we're making like tutorial videos, we're talking about e-com, we're teaching people things, right? So that's kind of more on the value side of things. And we didn't really have the production value, like we said, like we were just throwing shit together. But I think what I realized over the past year is that actually put us in a very advantageous position, because we did all of this stuff for a couple of years with an iPhone and a horrible setup, quite honestly. And we relied on our value and what we could bring to the table to actually go ahead and get the views. But now it's like, you know, we've moved out here to Dubai. We have access to videographers. We have access to, you know, multiple cameras, lighting, like a proper setup. And so not only can we touch on the value side of things, but we can improve the production quality, and then we can start to mix in a bit of our personality as well. And I feel like it really is just only the beginning for where we could take content and the personal brand as a whole.
Yeah, especially with the production value now, we can honestly take things to a whole nother level. Because if we were able to get that many views and get this far just purely based on value and what we were doing, now adding all of this into the mix is just going to take things on a whole nother level. And I think that is so important as well, is because a lot of people nowadays, there's no value, and it's just kind of like them showcasing what they're showcasing. Whereas we built it on value, which is honestly the hardest way to build an audience.
Yeah.
That's so difficult to build an audience based off like pushing out that type of content, and then people being able to like resonate, take value, take inspiration, take motivation from it. Because it's so easy nowadays to put up a TikTok clip of like a quote, but who can actually sit down and change someone's life in, you know, through words?
Well, I think it's like we've came a long way in terms of, you know, just our own development as a human being in multiple different aspects of life. And so that inevitably shows up in the content. Like, people can tell, oh shit, like, you know, visibly he's in better shape. Like, oh, you know, like he's in a better place. Like he's got the palm view behind him. Like he's got some nicer jewelry on his wrist. Like there's things that we don't necessarily have to say to the camera, but the audience will pick up on it over time. And I think it's actually beautiful that we went through those periods. I mean, back then we were still making good money, but maybe we had other aspects of our life that were not like as in tune as they are now. But it's beautiful that we went through that because our audience gets to come with us and gets to see like that journey and that evolution. And then, you know, a couple more years down the line, and all of a sudden we'll have that, you know, Iman Gadzi 10 years of content under our belt behind us for people to look back on and see like the evolution and the journey throughout our stages, right?
Yeah, we really have documented like almost everything. And even like last year, for the amount of like traveling, partying, and the like low amount of work that we did do, like still cleared millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Which I look back on and I'm like, it just shows like you put in a couple of years of hard work and then you can kind of like take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit and the machine's just working for you. So even today, like once again, could just stop running things for a little bit, not go too hard, but the machine is running so well, systems are set in place, and all this stuff that's just gonna keep things moving and keep things going to the next level.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that I learned a lot over the past, you know, year or two as well is like, if you grind, and especially while you're young, and you take those few years and you set a lot of things up for yourself, you build that foundation, like you're gonna be successful, but there's a difference between being successful and coming for it all, you know? And so I think now we're at a stage where it's like, you know, we've had that success for a number of years, clearing 6 figures a month in profit, you know, since we were 19, 20 years old, right? So it's like, we've lived that lifestyle and it's like, okay, now, you know, we're focused on a little bit more than just making our 200K a month and running around buying jewelry and just like traveling and partying, because we've already been through that. And we've also realized that reaching that stage, it can all be taken away from us just as fast as it all came to us. Like, yes, we've built things up and we're still going to make money, but if we just continually party and go out and travel and forget about the work and forget to double down, eventually things will come crumbling down in our face. So now it's like, when I actually have a little bit of momentum, I've reprogrammed my mind to be like, okay, like I need to go way harder with this instead of, okay, shit, I made $300,000 this month. Let's chill. Let's go party. No, like, let's fucking take it to 4 and then 5 and then 6. You know what I mean?
I wonder if we would have made a lot more money if we showcased all of that. So, you know, I see a couple of guys in the online space that are just showing, like, there's a guy who's making like a couple $100K a month, and even some months he's gone very, very high. And he literally tells people how he wakes up, he scrolls on TikTok for 2 hours a day, smokes vape, parties, yet he's still cleaning up with his business. And I think what that has done is it makes people relate a lot to the content.
Yeah.
Because for me, even during all of those times, I still kind of kept it very professional on socials, on reels, where no one really knew that was the life that we were kind of living. So I always look back and I'm like, would we have made more money? Would the brands have been way bigger? Because people are like, well, this fucking guy is living like the rock star dream life, essentially, printing millions of dollars, having fun with these boys. Like, I truly wish, like, and we had a full-time videographer, I truly wish that was all documented, like, fully, because it might have made people be able to be like, wait, this guy is not a robot. This guy isn't at the laptop 24/7. Like,
He's
sure,
like a normal human being that wants to give in to his desires to go out and party and be with his friends and all these things, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, we are human. We're not fucking robots. Like, there are a lot of guys in our space that are just like, you know, they're fully locked into the laptops and stuff. But for us, we're genuinely like majority of the fucking people in terms of the fact that we love to party, we love to have fun, we love to hang out with friends. But at the same time, we also prioritize, like, for the first couple of years, our time very, very well. Like, I don't know about you, but for me, I didn't really go out much. I didn't really see a lot of friends because I understood that there's a time and a place for certain things. We only did a year of having fun and stuff after years of building, after years of hustling, and playing our cards very, very smart and in the right way. And now, like for me as well, I've also believed things needed to come crashing down in the business for me a little bit for me to appreciate things now. Like it's so weird, but now like I'm so grateful for a lot of things, even down to like the small things in life.
Small wins, even on the daily, right?
Man, literally on the small wins, like I'd be going for a walk down at the beach and I'm like looking at the sand, I'm looking at the water, I'm looking at the view, and I'm actually taking it in. Because it was such a long time period where I was so numb to even like, I was flying first class with my girl on Emirates, and it was her first time flying first. And she was 20 years old and I was 22 or 21. And I remember we were flying first class from Dubai back to Australia, and this is like a fucking $14,000 seat. And as we were going into the first class lounge, into the first class seat, she was looking at me and she's like, "Are you not excited?" Like she was so excited. It was the first time. But for me, I was like, there was periods where I was so numb to all this stuff, where it was such a bad thing, because I was like, man, I need to look around and be grateful, be happy, actually take it all in, because there's a quote that goes out there as well. It's like 10 years, like let's say I'm 24 now. When I'm 34 years old, I would give up every dollar that I have to be where I am today. So that means that the moment that we're living in right now, like you and I, this moment is priceless. So it's kind of like selfish of myself and foolish of myself to not like really take in like the small things and really be grateful for it.
Yeah, 100%. I think like we've been on a very similar journey over the past couple of years, and we definitely did become numb, especially in that period of time, to like what was going on around us. And it's because when you do something every single day, right, it just doesn't become special anymore. So like we went out to dinners, to lunches, like all day, every day. But now when I go out to a nice dinner, it's not every day, right? Like we went out for your early birthday dinner the other night to Namos, and like we really appreciated that moment of being at a nice dinner, ordering, you know, the whole menu, all the food, the environment, the ambiance. Like probably everyone in there is spending thousands of dollars at their table. Like this is an environment that, you know, we wouldn't have had access to, you know, years back, or 99% of the population doesn't have access to, right? And so I think sitting there, enjoying our food, having that dinner with great company, again, was just a moment, you know, just the other day where I really just like reflected back, and I'm like, wow, like I need to appreciate this instead of, you know, get used to this and do this every single day and feel nothing towards it. Because then at that point, you're kind of stuck on this like hedonic treadmill, right? Like you're always chasing the next thing. So it's like, you get that business class flight, and you know you love stretching your legs out and enjoying the sea, and then next thing you know you're on first class, and then you know you're getting numb to first class too. So your next first class flight, you just walk in, you're not excited, nothing's going on, and it never stops because you've trained yourself to be that way. And although on the one hand it is good to always strive and push for more, on the other hand I think the real duality of life is being able to strive and push for more while still being present and grateful for everything that you already have. And the amazing thing is, the beautiful thing about this is you can actually do this at any stage of your life. And so this is something that I think we forgot about in the past. We're bringing back into our lives now, but I encourage anybody watching this to bring it into their lives. You know, even if you aren't making any money right now and are living in your parents' basement, right? You still need to appreciate that you have a beautiful family. You have parents who can take care of you. You know, most people might not have this opportunity, right? And that you have a great place to stay and work and build yourself up without having expenses. So although you're grateful for that, you're also pushing for more. You know, you want to move out, you want to have your own place, you want to one day buy your own car. But I think if you can manage the two sides of the coin that way, you'll be much happier, and you'll be building from a place of gratitude as opposed to building from a place of lack. And what's crazy is just a year or two ago, I think we were starting to build from a place of lack, which, you know, when I think about it now, our life 2 years ago, like we were living like how most people would only dream. Even older people, even billionaires, if they could go back in time, they would love to be experiencing and sharing in some of the moments that we were having, because we were running around with not like ridiculous like private jet money, but great money that we could do pretty much anything. We had time freedom, we had that location freedom, we were bouncing around the world. Like, it's crazy to think about, how much of a dream life we were living, right? And so I think in that time, we totally forgot about that. We got lost, and then somehow, inevitably, we pulled ourselves out of it. And I think we're in a much better place now, and we can really appreciate every day all the amazing things that are happening around us.
Yeah, and to your point of like anyone can kind of look at their life and appreciate it is so powerful, because even for like the average person, the fact that you have like access to clean food, to water, just even a roof over the top of your head, things like that is so important. And in 2021, when I came out to Dubai for the first time, clearing 6-figure months, there was a time where I was in the back of the Sprinter and it was just me, and I was like kind of like in this weird state of like what's next? I'm 21 in Dubai, clearing 6-figure months, and I was kind of like looking down, I was like kind of like trying to figure everything out. I was like, what the fuck do I do? And I took the guy that was driving the car, and I'm like, oh, like, can you pull up to McDonald's? I was like I want to grab a burger. We pulled through, and I told the guy, and I'm like, oh, like, what do you want? He's like, I don't know what to order. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, just say what you want. He's like, I've never had McDonald's before. Just even like, just things down to that. And I was like, why? He's like, oh, because I save every penny and I give that to his family back in Pakistan. And I was just like, such a shift in things like that. And then, I tipped him a bit of money, and he was just so grateful for like such a small thing. So even like now to this day, like no matter what stage you're at, you can always be so grateful for that thing, because there's always someone doing worse than you that would appreciate having what you have now. Even down to like, man, there are people that don't even have an arm or a leg. Like, as crazy as it sounds, like they wish they had what you had. So yeah, being grateful for the now whilst also striving to push more has been a complete game changer. And honestly, for the past year, I think since like January, December, I've like looked around and I've appreciated things more. And funny enough, I'm making more money now.
We've really been through like a stage of life, like making, quite honestly, a ridiculous amount of money for the age that we were at, and even still. But I'm extremely grateful that I was, that I've been on this path, because it's taught me so much, like outside of financially, like so much just as a person, because not many people actually end up ascending to these types of income levels in their life, regardless of their age, right? And so the fact that we did this at such a young age is so great for our development as a person, because we've seen the other side of life, right? Like, we've seen both sides. We've seen kind of the normal, like, go to school, work a part-time job, start washing dishes, then work your way up to a server, and then go to university. And then, like, we've seen that, like, kind of normal path, right? Yeah. And then we've hopped off that normal path, and we've seen the other side of things, where you have young kids running around making millions of dollars from online business models, living out here in Dubai, and all this stuff. And the fact that we've seen both sides at such a young age is actually so good, because now we get to figure out what's truly important to us and what the money actually means for us, right? Because I think in the first place, I was definitely like hopping off the path of university because fuck, I wanted to buy a Lamborghini, and I wanted to be sick, and I wanted to go date the hot girl and go to the nice places and travel, and like all this kind of like flashy stuff that you see on social media. Yeah. But then, like, once you've done that for a couple of years, and we've done it for a long time, it's like, well, now you get to sit back, you get to analyze both sides of life. And what I've actually realized is a lot of the things that I had before making a lot of money are actually more important to me than making all that money. And so once I made that realization, I'm like, well, if some of the things like family and a great relationship and a good circle of friends and my health and all these things are actually more important to me than ascending and making all this financial gain, then how can I still push forward but use that financial gain and that money to actually provide more fuel to the things that really matter to me? And it's like you said, like, well, now you can take first class flights between, Melbourne and Dubai. So you can go see your family whenever you want. You can go to that family dinner. You don't have to worry about stress and bills. You can put your phone away and give them that undistracted time.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's what the money's all about. It's about fueling the things that are most important in my life, whether that be taking care of friends, family, eventually helping people on a greater scale, like community and eventually society at large. But these things bring me a great deal of satisfaction. And I also, it's funny enough, but I found this out around Christmas time. Every year Christmas, it's a big deal. Growing up for me, it's kind of centered around gifts. Like a lot of it is it's very corporate because, there's this whole Santa Claus figure and all the kids are supposed to get ridiculous amounts of gifts and all this gifting, right? But as a kid, I used to love getting gifts. Like I would wake up every single morning, and then every year as I got older, it's I started to enjoy receiving the gifts a little bit less. And then probably by the time I was 16, 17, I was kind of fuck Christmas. I'm this rebellious teenager. I'm what's the point of this holiday? It's just all about gifts and all about this corporation is just trying to profit off of us, and we're all just wasting our money. And I just didn't think it was how it was when I grew up. And then as I got older, so 18, 19, 20, started to make my own money and started to feel the feeling of buying somebody an incredible gift that they could not have went out and got. That was a beautiful feeling. And then at that moment I was I love Christmas. This, I get to provide that kind of joy and that spirit that I once had as a child for everybody else around me on this day. And that's just one of the many examples in my life where making a lot more money has allowed me to truly feel a lot more fulfilled and satisfied with what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's such a good thing making a lot of money, because there's a lot of people money doesn't buy happiness, money doesn't do this, but when you make a lot of money, you can just test so many different things out. Even for yourself, you love to give gifts, right? And all this stuff, and you truly figure out what type of person you are. And we've gone through so much that I think we're at a stage now where we know what to spend our money on and what not to spend our money on. And even for me, the whole there's so many things that we did for the camera, but did we really like it? Some of this stuff, probably not. We didn't really enjoy it. So yeah, I think as you make a lot of money, as you mature a lot more, you realize you just don't care for a lot of things. And then the things that everyone takes for granted is what you come back to and realize how important those stuff is. Even just giving a gift to someone, a lot of people just do that, but the fact that now you can take it to the next level with the money that you have, it's just it's a different type of feeling.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you mentioned too. It's when we first started making good money and we were building the personal brands, at least for me, I would just see what other people were doing and I would just monkey see, monkey do. Eman's buying these pants and shirt. I want to do the same, and I'll spend my money on that. And then after a year of just spending money because other people are spending money and trying to fit in and trying to look cool, doing things for the camera and for content, I finally came to this realization, and I wish I did sooner, be yourself down to the last dollar, be authentic, because you're never going to be Iman. He's always going to be him. He's always going to be this London, posh guy, but you don't have to be him. You can be you, and who knows, maybe one day you can get even more recognition than somebody like him. Yeah. You just have to work hard enough and people will follow you for you. And so I think in our space in general, there's way too many clones. You see the exact same Instagram posts of people with their shirt off, standing outside a car, smoking a cigar. No, that's not you, that's Tate. Yeah. You just copied him down to every post, down to every video. And then you see all the old money guys pretending to be Iman. No, Iman grew up maybe this posh London guy, rich private school, whatever. However he grew up, this is who he is. This is not you. You grew up a different way, right? I'm a guy that grew up from Canada, small town, small fishing village. And I wasn't really exposed to seeing this kind of wealth in Dubai and stuff now. And so for me, I'm kind of owning the fact that I'm new money. I'm not old money. I'm not gonna sit here in my fucking Loro Piana suit every day. Look what I'm wearing. This screams new money because it's me. I don't want to try to be somebody else that I'm not, if that makes sense. It's a huge lesson that I learned.
Yeah, the biggest lesson. That's why I always look back and I was like, for like 2 years, I was trying to like look at other people where I wish I just did what I did and posted the content that I wanted to post. Like I wanted to post a lot of the stuff, the crazy stuff that was happening in my life, but I would always think, and I'm like, oh man, Iman wouldn't post that, or this person wouldn't post that. When in reality, I truly believe if I was to post all the stuff that I did in the last couple of years, I would probably genuinely be triple the size of audience that I have now. And that's what I've came back to as well, is like, what do I really want? Like, what do I really like? Like for me, I'm like, I kind of like these types of fits, but then I also like that type of fit. So now I'll just run fucking both.
Yeah,
and
now
now
you're
like
gonna box yourself in just because you know the biggest guy in the space. Is
yeah, like now I don't even fucking look at anyone. I'm like, I will say what I want to say. I'll do what I want to do. I'll post what I want to post. There was, I posted like some stories, some content a couple of months ago, and my team was like, oh, like, do you want to post that? And I'm like, bro, that's me. That's who I am. Like, if I compare myself to like an Iman or a Luke Belmer or these types of guys, like those people, when you really look at them, they are who they are. Like Tate is Tate because that's him. Iman's Iman because that's him. Like they didn't have to like look at anyone else, try to fake anything. That's just who they are as a character.
And what's crazy is your personal brand will grow way more because it's like you're not trying to shapeshift. It's not exhausting. The camera's always out and it's always recording you going about your daily life as it actually is. It's the most transparent, authentic, and to the source. And the closer you can get to your actual self in your personal brand, the more you're gonna grow. And guys like Iman, guys like Luke, they have like full-time videographers following them around everywhere, capturing everything and just throwing it out there. But because they're always themselves, that's why they've been able to do that. If they had to adapt their entire persona and play a different character in their personal brand, then they simply wouldn't have been able to make enough content to get to the extent that they are now, because it would have been way too exhausting for them to have to do that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is crazy how it always just comes back down to the basics. It's like, be yourself, make use of what you have, be grateful for everything around you, strive for more, and just have good people around you. Like you do all these basics, you prioritize your time very, very well. Getting to our type of level is just like, it can happen for a lot of people. Like, and then that's the other thing, like a lot of people are like, oh man, it's impossible to get to the life that you guys have, but you're just not willing to put in the work, and it's like, you'll never get it.
Yeah, and I think what's crazy is that everybody who's at $0 a month or 1K a month or 2K a month, I know we say like 10K a month, like overall in the space is kind of that point, and it kind of is where you sort of build that freedom in your life, right? Yeah. But all these people who that's their goal, they want it badly, but they're not making any progress towards it. Quite honestly, what the fuck are you doing? Because it has never been easier to go from 0 to 5K a month to 10K a month. Look, when you get to 100K a month, 50K a month, 200K a month, these sort of ranges, I'll be honest, it's very fucking hard because you have no playbook. Like nobody's gonna tell you the secrets, like actually the secrets from going from $250,000 a month to $1 million a month. It's not happening because these people are using their cash flow to fund their assets and build their businesses and go on to become multi-millionaires with generational wealth. They're not really showing guys like us the exact path, unless we have very specific mentors that we work closely with, which is something I recommend at any stage. But like in the beginning stages, how many people, you, me, dozens of my other friends, are giving people a fucking proven formula to follow? You literally just have to walk down it, be somewhat consistent, be dedicated. 6 months to 1 year, no problem. You should be at $10,000 a month. But the problem is, people write it off as a scam. They don't want to listen to a 24-year-old talking on the internet. They come up with every excuse possible as to why they shouldn't start. And honestly, those people were never going to make it in the first place. And for me, it's like, now I only work closely with very select clients. Like before, I used to have an education company where we just funnel everybody in. Yeah. And I got sick and tired of working with beginners because they never had it, and they never will have it, because it's all because of their mindset. And no matter how many times I tried to drill into them to reprogram their mindset, they didn't care. I mean, hell, I've had close friends, like buddies of mine, that have came over to my apartment, wasted hours of my time. Like they've come and they've said, hey, can you help me out like one-on-one? Like I'm just like really in a stuck position right now. I don't know what to do. Like I have no funds coming in. They're fucking looking for a handout.
Yeah.
They come, I give them everything that they need to do right now. I'm like, bro, stop going to the club. Stop drinking. Fucking use your weekends to work. This is what we did. We put our head down for 2 years straight, never saw the light of day behind the computer. And that's how we, you know, made it our initial climb, initial success. And I'll tell people exactly what to do. And you know what happened? That friend that came over, the next day, I saw an Instagram story of him popping bottles at the club. Now he's not really my friend anymore. Like when he hits me up, I'm like, I just don't bother with him because he wasted my time and then disrespected me the next day.
Yeah. Bro, there was a guy that came up to me at the club and he's like, yo, I mean, like, I follow you, watch your content. He's like, how can I make all this stuff? And I was like, bro, look where you're at right now. And he looks at me and he's like, what? I was like, bro, you're drunk. You're in the fucking club. What do you mean you didn't have time where you can't fucking make it work? And he kind of was pretty shocked by my response because I was so direct. But I was like, bro, you have to get told the hard-hitting truth. Otherwise, no change will happen. And yeah, there's, you know, I always think about this is like, how does someone close to us as well see our lifestyle, see that we came from, we're in the same place that they were in, we made it out, and how do they not have the hunger, the desire to go ahead and even get like a fraction of the life that we live, because that'll just improve their life drastically as well. But I don't know, I've always thought about this, like the average person does not have the hunger or desire to just even do a bit better. And I truly believe it's selfish of people to not try to strive and make as much money as possible. Like, especially as a man. As a man, I believe it's your duty and your responsibility to go out there and make as much money as possible to build a great life for yourself so that you can help your loved ones around you. Like, imagine calling your dad up and being like, here's $5,000. Like, my dad is going to Turkey in a couple of days and I just wired him 5,000. I'm like, there's your flight, there's all your stuff covered. My mum needed money, boom, here, have money. My little sister has my fucking card on her Apple Pay. She's going around just tapping it around. My girl's taken care of, all because I went ahead and strived to make as much money as possible. Let's say one of my close loved ones, my family members, car breaks down. No worries, let's take care of it. So I believe a lot of men are very selfish of the fact that they are lounging around, scrolling on TikTok while their fucking parents are hustling, while their girl has to go out there and work 8-hour shifts for pennies on the fucking dollar. So yeah, that's my take on the whole of like, I believe just men are very weak nowadays. Too busy fucking scrolling on TikTok, too busy jerking off nonstop and doing all this stuff, when in reality, like they are the backbone. They need to be the backbone of the family. Like, or otherwise, you know, your kid's gonna look up to you one day and be like, Dad, what the fuck did you do with your time? Oh yeah, I just drank beer with the boys and I went out and, you know, I didn't do anything great with my life.
Yeah, that's the biggest fear right there.
Like,
but I seriously think it's a generational problem. Like, you know, in earlier generations, people worked harder. They had fucking work ethic. Today, you know why we're sitting here with all of this? Honestly, is because there's no fucking competition. Like, let's be honest, we could be working a lot harder than we even did. Like, I could have went a million times harder, but I'm still growing very, very quickly. And the thing is, I really reflected on it and I'm like, why is that? Like, am I really that incredibly smart? Am I really that talented and gifted? No. It's because our entire generation is fucking hopeless. Yeah. Like, people are so distracted by Pornhub, fucking TikTok, like going to the club, you name it. There's a million distractions. Netflix is stealing hours and hours from people every single day. Yeah. But when you really look at whose fault it is, there's nobody to blame but the person sitting there and binging the Netflix, binging the TikTok. And look, you may have been, you know, not necessarily set up for success by growing up in this generation, by going to high school and hearing what the teachers had to tell you, by, you know, just being born how, you know, we were. Like 99.9% of the kids around me growing up, like they're struggling now. Like they're not, you know, they're definitely not in Dubai sitting like this.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them are doing decently well, but like the vast majority are struggling. And we've seen the stats. It's like, you know, 90% of Gen Zs are unemployable. Like Gen Zs are getting fired left, right, and center. They're getting laid off. Like we're the worst workforce ever. But yet, I think there's a clear divide because few people in our generation have realized that. We're like, oh shit, our generation's falling apart. Like everyone is way too distracted. We grew up with iPads and now we can't. We have the attention span of a goldfish.
Lower than a goldfish.
Yeah, lower than a goldfish. And I think the people who have really realized that are the ones who have then stepped outside, who have learned how to take back their time and genuinely control their phone instead of letting their phone control them. And these are the people who have gone on and, you know, experienced heightened success at a young age, like us. And then, you know, I feel bad, I feel sad for everybody else, but like the truth is, like they just don't want it. No matter how hard we try to push to inspire our own peers, our own friends, our own family members, this whole generation, they don't fucking listen. And like I said, they write everything off as a scam. There's no way this works. Come up with a million excuses and go back to doom scrolling their TikTok every single night. And like it's reaching a point where, you know, as much as I love providing just inspiration and value, like I'm getting sick of having to tell people the same things over and over again and seeing no change and no results from a lot of people. Now, it's also not to say that there isn't people like out there hustling, because I get people coming up to me saying that I've changed their life from what I've said online. I get, you know, people in my DMs every day showing me their results, showing me the life that they're building. So there are people. It's just a very large majority of our generation is absolutely fucking hopeless right now.
Yeah, 100%. And our generation's not only the laziest, but the most entitled, if you think about it. Like I'm seeing all these TikToks where the Gen Zs are like, oh, like my boss didn't let me work half my day from home. Like, no shit, you're fucking lazy already. Like, what are you gonna do at home as well? Probably waste even more time and lounge around. And yeah, part of me loves the fact that our generation is lazy, because we'll clean up on levels that these people will not be able to even comprehend. That's the part that excites me. When I see things like, oh, people's attention span's lower than a goldfish, perfect. Because I know these fuckers can't sit there and focus for an hour, for 30 minutes even. Let's put it even 30 minutes, they can't even focus.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, if I can sit there and I can stay focused and locked in for 6 hours, compared to the normal
Bro, I
Gen Z.
swear if you can lock in on something for like 2 hours, you've already crushed 99% of the competition.
Yeah, I'll take 45 minutes, bro. Even 45 minutes that you can lock in, you can do wonders and so much. So yeah, why do you think a lot of the Gen Z guys are so lazy? Like Well,
I think, look, every generation has their battle, right? Our battle as Gen Zs is the internet. We grew up with phones when we were very young, and phones, you know, then led to apps, dating apps, porn, fucking Netflix.
Do you think because things are a lot more easily accessible now? Like, for example, back in the days, the older generation, they had to go out there to pick up a girl, or they had to go out there to really, like, I don't know, apply for the workforce or something. But now it's like tap a couple of buttons and you can link up with a girl.
Yeah, well, in every aspect of life, it's work ethic. Our generation lost all work ethic because the generations previous to us, they made our lives so easy. Like, they invented all this technology, and on one hand, they did a great thing for progressing humanity, but on the other hand, they shot our generation in the foot because we just came into the world and they said, here's an iPad with everything that your brain needs to be stimulated 24/7. And the amount of data that these big companies have on humans and our brains, how they work, bro, they've manipulated the shit out of everybody in our generation, like down to the colors that they're using on Instagram, red, by the way, which captures people's attention the most for notifications, down to the sounds your phone is playing. Look, have you ever wondered why social media apps, like, their sounds, like their notification sounds, are all the same? Instagram, Facebook, X. It's because they don't want you to know what's coming. For example, Slack. You get a notification, How come Slack has its own notification? Because they want you to know this is an important work message.
Yeah.
The reason why these social media companies don't want you to know what's coming up next is because they've triggered a certain type of dopamine, and they've studied this for years, and they have so much data. And so what it is like, you know, imagine back in the day you're texting a crush from high school, right?
Yeah.
You know, every time you get a little notification, you're like, shit, like, is it her? Like,
Yeah.
whatever, right? Social media is the exact same way. So most of the time, they give you crap. But every once in a while, they give you something amazing, like your crush texting you. But because all the notifications are the exact same sound, right? You never know what's coming next. And it's the anticipation of receiving award or the anticipation of receiving an award that actually brings more dopamine than actually receiving the reward, which is crazy. And so they've mastered that. And so you never know what's coming next. So you're always checking your phone, notification. And then finally, once you get that reward, you get that huge hit of dopamine. But if every time you got that huge hit, you wouldn't have as much dopamine being released as if most of them weren't hits. It's like the slot machines at the casino, bro.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing what these social media companies have done to our brains. And they've literally fried our entire generation. And so if you can just do a little bit of research, study this stuff, because they're not going to tell you it in school, figure out on your own how you're being taken advantage of by corporations, how the world is using you to turn a profit on you, and how you're going to stay broke, sad, lazy, unmotivated, with nothing for the rest of your life. You can step outside of that, then you can genuinely have it all, because our generation is hopeless with all this tech right at their fingertips 24/7.
I think they also need to realize that the smartest engineers on the planet are behind these apps, and they've curated everything perfectly to be able to hook users to stay on these apps for as long as possible, which is why there's an algorithm. The more you scroll, the more data the algorithm collects, the more it's going to show you what you want to see to keep you on the app for longer. And the fact that a lot of people don't realize or understand that is the exact reason why they spend so much time. For us, when we're on these apps, we know exactly what they're doing. So we can like kind of catch ourselves if we get sucked into the algorithm. And I realize this as well. If I'm easily sometimes able to get sucked into their algorithms, and I'm very aware, I'm very switched on these stuff, I cannot imagine the average regular person, how much they're doom scrolling fucking daily. And for a lot of people as well, the entertainment part is so big. They want to watch all the big YouTubers and all this stuff. And it's crazy because a lot of people know more about these YouTubers' lives, these streamers' lives, more than they fucking know about their own life. Like, oh, this celebrity couple broke up. Like, no, like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're broke. Like, genuinely. Like, that part, like, frustrates me so much. It's like, oh, the Kardashians did this, or they launched this product. Like, bro, what have you done?
Yeah.
Like, get back to the drawing board, build your fucking life up, and then when you have a good life, when you're making good income, when you're making good progression, then you can start tapping into some of this entertainment and, you know, get that like dopamine or whatever. But when your life is like down bare at the bottom and you're so focused on these other people's lives, like,
bro,
doing more harm.
You know what's crazy? Instagram, TikTok, like X, bro, look at this. When you refresh that infinite feed, like the haptic feedback you get, that little like slight vibration, like how nice it is, and then you have an infinite feed to scroll. You know where they got that from? Slot machines in the fucking casino. It's the same thing. Think about it. Every time in the past, you know, you pull that slot, you can pull it infinitely, and you're getting closer and closer to your perceived reward.
Yeah.
That's the exact same thing you're doing on social media. You're refreshing and refreshing and refreshing on an infinite scroll wheel, and hoping that you're going to see something that's going to give you that dopamine, give you that stimulation. And our brains are totally hooked. Like, I catch myself doom scrolling every now and again, and I like to think that I know all this stuff. I've studied it. I've actively tried. I've turned off every notification on my phone. I've actively tried to avoid this, and I'm still falling back into the trap that these massive corporations have set out for me. Now imagine the everyday person who does not know this. They're just growing up, they're in high school. Bro, their brain is being rewired for life, and they have no way to stop it. And so, as much as on one hand, I'm like, you know, screw you, you're broke, you're lazy, like your mindset's trash, you're never gonna make it. On the other hand, I do also feel bad for our generation, which is probably why I'm also here on social media trying to provide advice so that every once in a while on their scroll, they stop and they actually hear somebody who's telling them to get the fuck off of their app instead of keep scrolling, right?
Yeah, I believe we're doing wonders for the world, like especially for our generation, to be able to look and understand and realize that sure, there's so much temptation, so many distractions, but if for a split second you can tap into your brain and be like, hey, like what I'm doing right now is not the right thing and I need to be doing something better to improve my life, you've genuinely fucking won. How many people can put their fucking phone down and just go for a walk and just think? That's a big thing as well, because we're constantly stimulated. When a lot of these people aren't doing something, what do? Pick up their phone. Or if they're not on their phone, they're on TV. If they're not on TV, they're doing something to stimulate themselves. Whereas a lot of these people don't actually give the time to actually stop for a second and think, like, is what I'm doing right now good for me? And I believe a lot of the reflection that I've done because of all this stuff has just gotten me to where I am today. Like stopping for a second and be like, all right, well, this was a bad decision. This wasn't good. What can I learn from this? How can I take things away from that? Having that reflection constantly, and then what we'll start to do is start to make you aware of certain things too. And then from there, like you just keep elevating yourself up. And it's like you get to a point where it's like just natural instinct. Like sure, we'll doom scroll sometimes, but we're also doom scrolling to get ideas and inspiration and use the algorithms to make more fucking money. So even when I'm doom scrolling, sometimes I'm like, I'm actually not doom scrolling. Like I'm saving certain content pieces that I like, that I want to recreate. I'm getting fresh new ideas and all this stuff. So whereas the average person uses the algorithm to feed themselves cheap dopamine, we use the algorithms to understand how they work, to understand how we can create content to go viral, to then push that traffic to our products to make more money.
Yeah, 100%. Like, honestly, here's the fucking blueprint right now. Like, this is what I would do. The big social medias for people, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, what else am I missing? TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't have a personal brand, fucking kill off Snapchat and TikTok. Honestly, there's no need.
Yeah.
You got Instagram and you got YouTube, okay? So on YouTube, you can install some extensions. It'll actually get rid of like all of the thumbnails, all of the clickbait bullshit, and you can just actually read the titles and see, okay, what is a video topic that I am actually interested in, I want to learn something from, and you can search directly for this, right? Instagram. Shut off all the notifications on your phone. You don't need to know when fucking Tim Appleseed likes your post. Like, bro, why are you getting notifications on Instagram? I tell my girlfriend this all the time. Like, turn off all the fucking notifications on your phone, honestly. Like, it's bothering me. We're trying to sleep. Your phone's lighting up every fucking 2 seconds from some random messages. Like, just turn that shit off, right? Yeah. Anyone, regardless of who you are, turn off the notifications. Use your Instagram as a social identity card. Refrain from scrolling, refrain from doom scrolling on the Reels tab. Like literally set yourself a limit on your phone so it won't let you use the app. And then also push the app to the farthest page away on your phone so you're less likely to open it after pickups. That's what I'd recommend for Instagram. And then YouTube, like unsubscribe to everybody, follow 5 creators, like 5 people that you genuinely want to learn from. Maybe one's health, wealth, relationships, family, financial, you're studying e-com or affiliate, maybe one of us, whatever it may be. But, you know, with Instagram, do the same thing. Like I've unfollowed everybody that does not provide me value or teach me something, that is not an extremely close family or friend. Then I actually, you know, genuinely care about what they're up to in real time. And that's it. I'm down to like 200 followers. Granted, I have a big network. I know thousands of people, but I'm only following 200 people, right? And so that alone helps me cut down the time. But of course, with these social medias, there's infinite scroll. So regardless of what you do, they're still trying to hook you on. So be aware of that. Use these social medias as your tool to progress in life, whether that's building a personal brand, whether that's, you know, staying in touch with like people you really, really care about and not following anybody else. But that's how you do it, guys. You just take all those steps and then implement it and then monitor yourself like you would do, you know, in anything else in life. You go to the gym, you work out, you monitor your progress, you switch it if it's not working, you try something new. This is what works for me. This is what's worked for countless other people. follow it. If it doesn't work, adapt it, and keep moving forward. But the point is, be aware that you're being taken advantage of. Your life is going to shit, and this is how you fix it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. They need to take that advice, implement it, and then track the results. And when you start seeing good results, you kind of get addicted to that good results, and then it's like, all right, boom, I'm spending less time, I have more energy, more clarity. By the way, as well, our brains are actually not meant to intake that much stimulants and that much dopamine, which is why motherfuckers are always tired. Like, they're always laying in bed, they're always drained out of their energy because your brain isn't meant to be downloading that much information. So what it's just doing is just fucking your brain up. I realized this as well. Every single time where I would go through a period where I'm like low energy, I look back and I'm like, all right, I was doom scrolling a little bit, taking way too much stimulant in, and you shouldn't be doing that. So the fact that people are getting taken advantage of, your energy is getting drained, so you can't actually do anything productive. Like you're setting yourself up for fucking failure. And you know, as your life goes downhill more and more and more, it's just like the fact that people aren't waking up and being like, all right, fuck, I need to switch something. And by the way, like right now, streaming is a big thing. Streaming is a massive thing. You got Aiden Ross, you got Neon, you've got all these fucking guys. People are fucking sitting down, investing more of their hours into these streamers. By the way, like, you know, these streamers can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Like, you know, you do whatever you want to do. Great success for a lot of these guys, but the fact that people are investing time into streamers that literally provide zero fucking value blows my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, you are invested more in the streamer that's fucking around, jumping around, starting fights, doing all this dumb stuff, into investing into your own self. Sure, let's say you spent 5 hours that day or 3 hours that day working hard on yourself to improve yourself, then dedicate an hour, watch a streamer, do whatever the fuck you want to do. But if your life is going to
shit, it'll feel so much better.
Bro, I tell people this all the time. Like, I remember when I was like broke, all the boys were like, man, come out to the club, come have fun with us. I'm like, bro, like, I'm fucking broke. Like, we have to split an Uber to the club. We have to split one fucking bottle. I can't even buy a drink inside of the club without getting hit. Yeah. A lot of boys would be like, come to this restaurant, that restaurant. I'm like, bro, like, I need to build my life up. I went ghost. And everything is more fun when you have fucking money.
Yeah.
It literally is. The club nights, bro. How many fun nights have we had? Because we didn't give a fuck about the money. Restaurants as well. All this stuff, like,
we just prioritized us having the best time possible.
Exactly. Now, we don't go to a restaurant and we're looking at the menu and like, oh, this is a bit fucking expensive. No, like, that's the other thing with half-assing stuff. It's like like for a lot of people, even at the early days, like when you go to the club, you're half-assing it. Because one, the hot girl doesn't even want you because she's too busy with the fucking rich dudes at the club. Second, you can't even go and fucking have fun at the bar because one drink in, you're complaining about the fact you don't have any money, and then two, you're Ubering it back home. Like,
and also just even on the day of, like, it's like if you work, you grind for like 8 hours in that day, and you dedicate yourself an hour to watch your favorite Netflix show at night, bro, you're gonna be laying there like so satisfied with your day and your effort and just loving the fact that you're watching that Netflix show. And also for me, it's like, I feel this with the gym. You know, there are lots of days where I don't feel like going to the gym, but if I get up and I go and I push myself, regardless of how I feel, and fucking move my body, make myself go to work, then at the end of that night, when I'm relaxing for the end of the night before I go to bed, I'm in a such better state of mind. I'm so much happier because I fucking pushed it that day. I don't know about you, but like, I feel like this is the way we're wired to be as men, and we should feel like this. Like, we should want to go to war in the day, and then at the very end of it all, we sit back, you know, glass of whiskey in hand, whatever, we're happy and we're reflecting and we're so much more grateful. But if you skip ahead to the glass of whiskey and the Netflix and the fucking massages, when you haven't done shit with your whole day, you feel horrible, right? Like, I'm the same way. If I just lounge around all day and then do like have my fun at night, I feel like shit. But if I go to war all day and then have fun at night, wow, it's an amazing night, guaranteed.
It's the best fucking feeling because you know that you deserve it. Yeah. That's the thing. In life, I believe a lot of the people that are broke or whatever, I truly believe deep down they feel guilty about things that they're doing because they know they haven't deserved it. Like, you didn't deserve that drink of whiskey. You didn't deserve that one show of Netflix.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to war, you do what you need to do, you come back, you're like, boom, I deserve to hang out and spend some time, which is important to do. Like, guys, we're not telling you guys not to fucking do all this stuff. It's all about prioritizing time well. And going back to, like, even when you mentioned, like, you didn't feel like going to the gym, but you went. I believe that's a lot of success, is so many times you actually won't feel like doing what's needed to get done. Like, there's so many times where sometimes I don't want to sit there and lock in for hours. It's difficult sometimes too, but I know deep down that that is what is needed to move things forward in my life. That is what's needed in order to get me one step closer to my dream house. That is needed to get me one step closer to providing a better life for my family, my future family. And I know that if I do not put in that work, that once again, I'm selfish for myself. I'm letting the people around me down as well, and it's just not a good fucking feeling. Yeah, it's like Conor McGregor spoke about this as well. Is like it's disrespectful to the people around you if you don't put in the effort that you need to put in, because everyone's looking at you to lead the way as a man, and you're just fucking around.